recording here. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to put up my slideshow presentation really quickly. This is just a quick overview of our program, and then I'm going to go over the concurrent enrollment plan in more detail with everyone. And then you guys can just stop me anytime you have questions or concerns. So let me share my screen. And Tiffany, would you give me the thumbs up if it's the right screen? Okay, good. I'm always afraid I'm just talking and everybody's like, I'm looking at a picture of your background. So awesome. Okay, so this presentation is very quick. I'm just going to go over very quickly, a couple of things about our program, what makes it a little bit different, and how it'll benefit your students. So this is the thing I start with everyone is just like why the University of Michigan flipped for the RN to BSN program. We are well aware that there are a lot of people and a lot of programs out there. And so like what we feel like sets our program apart. Of course, we are CCNE accredited. That goes with that high quality and high standard of education. So it's that kind of like stamp of approval. We offer undergraduate certificate opportunities for our students. So that's something that's a little bit different about our program than others. We currently have 3 undergraduate certificate opportunities for students in case management, leadership and management, and nursing informatics. Those certificates are traditionally only an additional 1 to 2 classes above and beyond what's in the RN to BSN curriculum. And then the student not only receives a certificate, a physical certificate from the university that they completed it, it's also on their transcripts. And then the content that they learn in those courses is tailored to the national accrediting exams. So if they ever want to be nationally certified in one of those areas, they should have the content to be successful in those exams. One thing that we have that a lot of programs don't have is we have study abroad opportunities. Every spring, we have a Kenya trip, and students can use that as part of their community course. This is a big one that a lot of our students like is the early assurance into our graduate program. So we have 4 nurse practitioner tracks, family, psychiatric, acute care, and geroprimary. And so the students that do well in our program that are higher achieving students basically can get a seat saved for them in our competitive admissions MSN and DNP program. So a lot of our students think or want to go on for their nurse practitioner after their BSN. And that allows them to kind of hold their spot or hold a seat in our competitive admission MSN and DNP nurse practitioner programs. We also offer an RN to DNP with MSN option. That's for the high achieving associate's degree nurse that wants to skip their bachelor's degree and go straight into the nurse practitioner program. There are some prerequisite classes that students need to complete prior to starting into grad programs, but they have up to 2 years to complete those prerequisite classes. And then they kind of skip their bachelor's degree and go straight into grad programs. We do not offer any or require any prerequisite coursework. So there's nothing like, we don't require that you have chemistry or microbiology or anatomy and physiology or any specific classes. So there's no specific classes that we require, like, oh, they've got to have these classes to do our program. There's nothing. If they are getting their associate's degree, whatever the community college determined was necessary to get an associate's degree, that's what we determine is needed for our RN to BSN program. But students can start our program prior to passing their NCLEX and prior to graduating. And a lot of your students take advantage of this because of the fact that there's a lot of times not a lot of nursing classes in the summertime. Our students a lot of times will come to you guys in what we call the fall and the winter, the September and January term. And then they come to us in spring and summer, then go back to you to finish up and then come to us after they're done. And that's that concurrent enrollment plan that we're going to talk about here in the next couple of screens. So that helps students so that they can kind of finish up their BSN even faster. We're going to show you that here in just a second. And so, like I said, they don't have to have their NCLEX passed or their nursing license or their degree even finished to do our 100 to 300 level classes. They don't have to have their NCLEX passed until they start into their 400 level classes. We have advisors that work with the students from the table events until graduation. So every webinar that you see attended or every table event is traditionally by they're one of the advisors. It's not an outside marketing company that's going to come in and tell your students one thing just to get them in the door. And then once they actually speak to an advisor, they hear something else. It's traditionally me, Stephanie, or Tiffany, and sometimes Jennifer at those events. And then if the student builds a relationship with one of us, they can work with us from that table event until the day they graduate. They don't have to worry about being passed off to somebody else. We have personalized course plans for every single student. So every single one of your students, even though they're in an associate's degree program, they a lot of times took different classes. Maybe they switched their major, whatever it is. Some of them want to go faster. Some of them want to go slower. Some of them need to take time off. That we create those personalized course plans for every single student, and we update them as many times as they need us to when life events happen. And that goes along with the next bullet point, which is that all of our classes are offered online every semester in a 7-week and or 14-week class. So everything between 100 and 300 is in a 7-week to 14-week option. And so then our 400s are traditionally in a 14-week option, but because they're heavier classes, so it's harder to condense that down into 7 weeks. That allows our students to be able to take time off, not have to worry about, oh my gosh, I missed a prereq and I've got to wait an entire semester, entire year, whatever it is. The student can pick right back up in the middle of the semester if they want, because it'll probably be offered in the next 7 weeks. So that gives students that opportunity to start a new job. If they have a baby, if they have a wedding, if they have a life event, whatever it is, that they don't have to take a large amount of time off or worry about missing a class. It's being offered again every 7 weeks. And then finally, we do give students 15 University of Michigan Flint credits for passing their nursing license. Those classes can go towards a couple of different rules for graduation, but what's nice about them is they are actually University of Michigan Flint credits. They're not transfer credits. And so that's a way we can use them towards that University of Michigan degree. So these are just some transfer guidelines, just so your students know. We do require that all classes are a C or better to transfer in. So if a student had a C- or a D in a class, like they took an art class, for example, or something like that, then it would not transfer in. So it wouldn't affect their GPA, which is nice, but it's not a big deal as long as it's not maybe a class that they needed for their general education. And students do need a minimum of a 2.0 GPA, and they do need a 2.75 minimum in their associate's degree program. As I mentioned before, no prerequisite courses. Students can start into all of our 100 to 300 level nursing courses at any time in their ADN program. And then the last 30 credits are going to stay at the University of Michigan Flint. It's pretty traditional rule that 30 credits need to come from that particular university. But they have what they call a senior rule, which means the last 30 credits stay at the University of Michigan Flint. But we have that wiggle room with those 15 credits for passing their nursing license. And we'll talk about that on that concurrent enrollment plan. And as always, we always tell students transfer credit is subject to change. So always make sure to talk to us before they take anything above and beyond what is required in their associate's degree in nursing, or if they were getting their MTA stamp, just so that we can help make sure that it transfers in correctly. And as always, students can talk to us even if they're in their first semester in their associate's degree program, or they're taking pre-nursing classes. They can speak to us at any point. We aren't like, oh, you have to wait till you're in your last semester or your last year in your ADM program. Absolutely not. The sooner the better. They're welcome to book an appointment with one of us. And that's just our transfer equivalency website. So the next page, oh, it's not wanting to go. There we go. Oops, sorry. Let's see. Oh, I don't use Google Slides a lot, so I have to see if I don't know how to go back in it. Sorry, let me go back out. I apologize. I normally use I normally use PowerPoint, but I thought, oh, I'm going to email it to them. So I'm going to use my Google Slide version. And now I'm like, oh, this is why I don't do it. As I mentioned before, these are just our 3 different undergraduate certificate opportunities that students have available to them: leadership in management, case management, and healthcare informatics. We also have a graduate level healthcare simulation certificate. Traditionally, students need their bachelor's degree before they start into it. It's a 4-course graduate level certificate, but we allow our students to start into that program. They can take the first 2 of the 4 classes in their undergrad, and that also gets them that undergraduate tuition cost versus graduate tuition cost, which is nice. We also offer, this wouldn't probably be for your current students, but it would be an option for your graduating students. We offer the SANE certificate, which is a sexual assault nurse examiner certificate. This certificate does require some work experience as a registered nurse. So that's why I said it's great for your students that have graduated potentially from the program, but it wouldn't be for your current students since they wouldn't have work experience in that yet. But it is a great program, and it does have the opportunity to get paid for free if the student lives in an underserved population. So we have grant money to help pay for this certificate. As I mentioned before, this is a big one for our students, which is the early assurance program. What it does is the students that basically maintain a 3.5 GPA at the University of Michigan Flint, it's not what they transferred in. They don't have to worry about if they had a bad grade back, when they were 18 years old. It's what they do at the university. As long as they kind of maintain that 3.5 GPA, they can fill out this form after they've completed 4 of our required courses with a B+ or better. And then they tell us when they want to start into grad programs. And then they are able to have a seat held for them in our competitive admission MSN and DNP programs, which are all nurse practitioner tracks. As I mentioned before, that RN to DNP with MSN, this is for the high achieving associate's degree nurse. So this is for that student with the 3.5 overall GPA in their last 60 credits at Wayne County. And these are those prerequisite classes. Once they're admitted, they have 2 years, up to 2 years to complete those prerequisite classes. And then they can start into graduate programs and not get their bachelor's degree. So I'm going to go, these are our transfer guides, but what I would like to do now is stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to go to those in the actual website. So that way you can see them a little bit bigger. So I'm going to pull that up and then share my screen. I'm going to zoom in on it so it's a little bit easier to view for you. So these are on our transfer equivalency website. The first part is our transfer guide that is similar to the entire university. So the entire university has a standard transfer guide template. And so this first page of the transfer guide is the standard template that all university programs have. And so this starts off with the general education requirements. Now, these have been moved to the fall 23 curriculum. So starting in the fall of 2023, we have changed our general education requirements for the better. So we have removed, Tiffany, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 to 4 categories of general education. We no longer have or require health and well-being. We no longer require global studies. We no longer require technology. And we no longer require capstone.
Yes.
So did I get it? Yeah. So and so those are the different ones. The other thing that we also did was we used to require that they had to have English 119 and English 120 specifically. The nice thing now, I know that you guys require that as well, so that works out fine. But some other community colleges just required basically English 1 and then a second communications course. And so we aligned ourselves more with the MTA. The other wonderful thing is that now if your students get the MTA stamp at Wayne County or Wayne County Community College, they will get all their gen eds waived. So every category of gen ed is waived if they have that MTA stamp. So that helps the community college promote that MTA stamp, and it also makes sure that they know that everything is met with the general education if they have their MTA, and the only thing they have left to take with us is the 30 credits of nursing curriculum, and that's all. So here we talk about
Brooke, I think someone had a question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Can you tell us what is MTA?
Yeah, so that's the Michigan Transfer Agreement. So the MTA is the Michigan Transfer Agreement. And so it is let's see if I can really quickly search it. MTA. So here it is on your website.
Okay.
This is the, it's awarded by the community college. And it says that they met these different areas of, and then you guys determine, the community college determines what classes you guys want them to take to meet those criteria. And then the original goal of the MTA, which was a great goal, but it didn't work the way they wanted, was that your students at the community college could get the MTA when they didn't know what university they were going to go to when they graduated. And that way it wiped out all the gen eds, no matter what university they went to. The problem is that not all universities signed up for that. So it didn't work that way always. But now for us, like I said, we aligned our gen eds with the MTA so that if your students do decide, you know what, I'm not sure if I want to go to University of Michigan Flint after my bachelor's degree, or if I want to go, I'm just using another school, Oakland University, that you can recommend to them, hey, go ahead and get your MTA stamp. And then that will help, wipe out those general education classes. The general education classes that your students take will still come in and meet an exact transfer. And it may be better for them to just do exact transfers because our gen eds are less than what they used to be. But if students are in a boat where they're like, I'm not sure where I want to go yet, that's when, as advisors or faculty, it's great to tell the student, well, maybe look at getting your MTA stamp at the community college. So that way it gives you that flexibility to go to different universities and probably have your general education waived or wiped out. So that, and then it also helps completion rates for you guys, because I think you also get completion rates for that MTA. So, that's another great thing about it coming fully into the university. So this talks about our gen eds at the very tip top. So like I said, we require an English. It's met by your English 119. We require a second English, which could be either your English 120 or your speech 101 or your speech 100. Again, or always the MTA stamp is meeting everything if they have that. We do require 6 credits of social science, which is met with your poli-sci 101 and your psychology 101. And then we do require 6 credits of humanities. So that is nothing that's built into the associate's degree program. So that's where the student would have the opportunity, if they got their MTA, it's wiped out, or they could take 6 credits at the community college in humanities type classes, which is like a philosophy or oh gosh, I just lost some of the other ones, a ethics type class. And so if you go to our transfer guide, which is linked there, it'll tell you if those classes are humanities, and if the student wants to look up to see if those would transfer as a humanities. And so that's traditionally 2 classes to create 6 credits. And then they need 3 credits of a fine arts. Again, that built into the associate's degree program. So the student could take any 3 credit fine art, or their MTA would meet that. Mathematics is the same thing. There's no mathematics built into the associate's degree programs because the student can take any class that's considered a math class. It cannot be the pre-math class, the ones that they take at the lower level, like the under 100 level type classes. Those don't count. But traditionally, any kind of math or finance type class will meet, like a college algebra or a personal finance class will meet that category. And again, if they meet their MTA requirements, it's wiped. And then their natural sciences met with their biology 295, microbiology. And then these are the RN to BSN program classes that they can either transfer in some of those or take with us. If they do take ALH 230 medical ethics, it can meet our NSC 180. And then if they take the 4 combined classes, I think 3 are built in and 1 is not, which is your nutrition, pharm, patho, and health assessment. I think all 3 are built into your program, and then patho is optional. If they happen to take those, they could transfer that in. The only thing that your students would want to keep in mind is that if they took both of these classes, then you're under 30 credits at the university. So they would want to take those extra gen eds with us and not at the community college to meet that 30 credit hours, which is, again, when we build those those personalized course plans. So that's again, just that kind of generic transfer guide to show what students can transfer in. This first one talks about just the WCCCD concurrent enrollment, just talks about, you know, passing their nursing license, how to book an appointment, just more information if they had questions about Wayne County's, your guys' program, and things like that. And then here semester outline, because our semesters, we call them slightly different than you. So when I say fall, what I mean, when I say winter, what I mean, when I say spring, and when I mean summer, that's the University of Michigan Flint's logos for those terms. And Wayne County calls it fall, spring, and summer. And so that's what I just clarified. And then I'm going to go through this pathway is the next thing we're going to do, but it talks about that if students wanted to do this pathway perfectly, just like this, which they absolutely can, but if they did, they could be done with their bachelor's degree in nursing in 3 years and 4 months. So the great thing about these concurrent enrollment plans is that it's a great marketing tool for Wayne County when you're talking to the high school students and they're like, well, I want to get my bachelor's degree in nursing. And you're like, you can do that. And you can actually do it faster if you wanted to than a traditional BSN program, and cheaper less expensive by doing it at the community, doing the majority of the classes at the community college price, and still get your bachelor's degree at the same time your friends that are graduating are. And so that's what these concurrent enrollment plans do. Just so that you're aware, these are guides and students can absolutely follow them to a T, but we understand that life happens. Maybe they fail a class, maybe they have to take time off for work or life or whatever, that we will create that personalized course plan for those students. So don't think like they have to follow this plan. There's no other options. There's no flexibility. This is it. That's absolutely not what this is. This is just a guide that says you can do it like this. Absolutely. And here's how it could be done. But if you need some flexibility, if you need to take time off, if you need to, take a break or, fail a class, that there's flexibility with that. And we would absolutely work with the student to create that personalized course plan. But what I do with these is, this is the fall start. So a student that was coming to you in a fall semester, I read, and you guys, this is where you guys tell me and I can zoom in further if I messed anything up. So what I do is I go off of your website based on what you guys kind of have the classes listed out as pre-nursing or the classes that they need to take as prerequisites. And then I use your schedule as to when you have students take classes in what order. And then I put in sometimes some of the semesters, I put in those additional classes for general education or the MTA stamp. So for example, the first year of that student's curriculum is doing those prerequisite classes. Is May 15th still one of your application deadlines?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, sorry, I can't see anyone. Sorry, you were shaking your head. Yep. Okay, awesome. And so then, like I said, these are your prereq classes, and then I put behind it what general education classes it's transferring into the University of Michigan Flint. So the first semester, fall semester, a student could take Intro to Biology, English 1, Psychology, and American Government. And then this is how they're transferring in and or what general education category they're meeting at the University of Michigan Flint. And then the second semester, so this would be the spring or what we call winter, you see it in the parentheses there, the students take at Wayne County microbiology. And then they would take one fine arts or humanities course and for the MTA, and that's where I link it to your MTA guide. And so the students can pick from that list. I'll see if I don't know if it'll share my screen. Tiffany, did it share the second screen? Okay, awesome. So this is from your website for the MTA and what you guys call humanities. So these are their classes that they can choose from down here under the humanities area. And so they would take one that semester, and then they would take their intermediate algebra And that's just because that's a prereq to the MTA classes, or they could test out of it. So that's just in there if the student had the lower math, they need to get that in there first. We don't require it and the MTA doesn't, but I know that some of your math classes have that as a prereq if they had a low ACT or a low compass score. I put that in there so that the student would know if you have that lower score, here's the semester where you could take it. And then their anatomy and physiology 1. And then in the summer semester, that's when they would take their math. Again, it goes back to that sheet. They can pick from that list of math for MTA requirements. They would take their other humanities or fine arts. And then we're taking anatomy and physiology 2, which is a prereq class. And that class is offered in your summer term, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I was just making sure because I know some school, I think I try to always double check, but I always want to make sure too. And then they take their secondary natural science class because that's an MTA requirement to have that. And it can be any natural science class as long as it doesn't start with BIOL. It has to be the MTA stamp requires that it has a secondary prefix, that they're not all out of the same department. And then that's when they, like I said, they meet that, they need to make sure they have their application in. And if they've passed all of those classes and everything is perfect and wonderful in the world, then they would start into your nursing program in the fall semester. And so then you'll see, you know, that I follow your schedule, I believe. And if I missed or messed up anything, just let me know. And so here's what they would take in their first fall, the first winter, and then this is where they would come to the University of Michigan Flint. So this is when they can come to us in what we call spring or summer, which is that.
Brooke,
Yeah.
there's a change with, we deleted nutrition.
Okay, great. So let's see. So right here, do they take anything in its place?
No.
Okay.
It's spread throughout the curriculum.
It's perfect. Okay, so we're going to delete that row. And I'm going to come down here because this is the other one. This is if they were a winter start. Let's see, where is it? Down here. Okay. And I'll delete it out of this row. And then that would just be that they would take, they just take 7 credits that semester, correct?
Where are we at? Where are we at? Right here? Which one are we at? Right? Are we here? 114, 116?
Yep, 114 and 116.
Yes. Correct.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So then I'll come back up and fix that one as well. So then that is 7 credits. Awesome. Okay, cool. And so then they would fill out a University of Michigan Flint application. That application is free and they could do it anytime in that spring, you know, anytime between January and May, and apply to start into our program. And like I said, it's a direct admit program. It's not like we're looking for specific classes or anything to be admitted into it. The students just fill out the application and there's no secondary application or anything like that. And it is a free application. So the students that were following this plan would apply in the January to May semester there to start with us. And then they would come to the University of Michigan Flint and take their research class, legal and moral and informatics, that spring, summer semesters. And they could divide it out between those 2 7 weeks. And it would be 8 credits of University of Michigan classes that they were done with. And then they come back to Wayne County and finish out their fall and winter of their last semesters. And so, yeah.
210, that should be mental health.
Okay. Mental health.
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. And then they finish out those final 2 semesters at Wayne County, and then they are done and they still have a semester here. They would come to us again around the summertime and take these 9 to 11 credits. And they would have that entire semester, so between May and August, to pass their nursing license. Because then you'll see down here, once you get into the 400s, they would need their nursing license for that. Again, if a student starts a new job and they wanted to, or they want to, you know, take the summertime off to study for their NCLEX, all of these classes are offered in the other terms. They can go faster through them, they can go slower, they can take time off. It's absolutely fine. This is just a plan to show them this is how fast you could get it done. If you're like, I'm going to knock this out, this is how I would like to do it. So like I said, this is more of like a full-time pace for our students as well. And as you may know, most of our students go more like part-time. So again, lots of flexibility with this, but this is just like a marketing tool, like I said, to show like, look, this is as fast as you could do it, which again is done in 3 years and 4 months. So that's amazing, you know, to start your college career and be done with your BSN within 3 years and 4 months. This is the same exact one, except for if it was a student that came to you in your spring. Let me fix that. I need to push, because you guys call it spring. We call it winter. I apologize. So if they came to you in the spring, and started with you guys. So, this is, you know, again, it's the same exact scenario. It's just based on if your guys' classes are in, if they had a winter start, and then again, it's a September 15 application deadline, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, yep, so it's exact same plan, except for I need to put in, I removed that one class, but this one needs to be mental health, correct?
Correct.
Perfect. Okay, so so that, like I said, is just the winter start. If a student came to you, they took the fall term off, they started in the winter, what it would look like. And then again, it's them kind of coming back and forth with us in a spring, summer. And then back to you guys in a fall, winter, come to us in the spring and summer. The only downfall with the winter start is that if a student did do this and they wanted to do exactly, it's a short turnaround. It does happen, but it's a very short turnaround, because when they graduate in December, they would need their nursing license before like the early mid-January that we start classes. Students do it. I've had it happen many times, but they couldn't start into these without their nursing license. So if they didn't pass their first time, for example, or they didn't get their results back for some reason, then what we would do is just move those to the spring, summer. So they would just take that winter term off and start with us in May instead. Again, it can be done. I've seen it done, but you know, we want to make sure that they know you can't proceed until we have that nursing license. The other great thing about this is not only is it faster for students, but it's less credits for a student, because they're getting those 15 credits for passing their nursing license. So that meets the 120 rule, but they're really only paying out of pocket between Wayne County and University of Michigan Flint for 112 to 117 credits. So that saves them money as well as time. And they're only doing, with these plans, they're only doing 30 credits at the University of Michigan Flint. The remaining classes and credits are all completed at Wayne County Community College at Wayne County's cost. So it is really a great money saver for students as well. And so then this last sheet is, I'll zoom out just a little bit so it's not so condensed there. This last sheet is just what we call a checklist. I need to move nutrition out of there because you no longer require that one. So let me delete that row. This shouldn't be gray, but oh, it's still wood gray. Let's see if we do it this way. There we go. So this is just like a full checklist between everything they take at the community college and everything they take at the University of Michigan Flint. So that if they are those students that want to check it off and it feels good when it's all done, this is a checklist. This has the pre-nursing or the general education requirements from Wayne County. This has your actual requirements for the program. These are those additional general education classes for the MTA stamp that aren't already built into your associate's degree. They are built into that concurrent enrollment plan, but they just weren't built into your requirements for the associate's degree that they would take at the community college. And then these are the 30 credits. Oops, I'm going to mess that up. 30 credits at the University of Michigan Flint that they take with us. And so that's just if they wanted to check box it off. Yes.
Hey, Dr. Russell and Dean Johnson, should you guys put the Allied Health map up there where the prerequisites are, the ALH? Should it be up there or no?
Yes. it
Okay,
should.
so that's a new requirement. So
Yeah,
what,
yeah, that just changed within the last few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
so what is it?
LH 105 medical math. Thanks, Dean Collins.
You're welcome, guys.
And then I'll look up that equivalent and add it in. What semester do they take it so that I can make sure to add it in up here?
It's a prerequisite.
Okay, so it needs to be taken before. Okay, perfect. I will fix that before I send it off to everybody and make sure that it's in there. What I will do is I will take some of these, probably what I'll do is I'll take like this gen ed out of this semester or the MTA, and put it down here where we took out nutrition. So that way also it gives students more credits for financial aid so that they're closer to their financial aid as well. And I'll do that before I send it off. Any other changes that you see? So I fixed the nutrition out of everything. We got that title in there, but now I just need to make sure to rework I'm gonna write myself a note so I don't forget the ALH 105, put it into the concurrent. Awesome. Other things you guys saw that needs adjusting or fixed?
Hi, Brooke.
Yes.
Hi, our, what is that? Mental health, the prerequisite mental health.
The psychology? Is
No.
it the psychology?
So, intro to psychology.
Okay.
That has been taken out of the prerequisites,
Okay.
and that is now in it's a co-requisite now in the second. Take it before mental health. Right.
They don't take it before anymore. So now it comes down with the semester that they
Before
take
mental health. They must take it before 210.
Okay, so then they would take it in this semester here where the nutrition was.
Okay, yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to insert a row before, and then I'm going to take this
Here right now.
and put it down here. Okay, so like that, and then that would be 10 credits that semester. And then we'll do it the same thing up here. So I'm going to pull it out of here and then cut. And then we're going to put it down in this semester, insert row above, boom, and then 10, whoopsie, and then 10. And then this is the semester then where we would put the ALH 105 medical math. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So then I will look up, like I said, I'll look up the equivalent and add that in there. Let's see. Oops. Perfect. And then like I said, I'll fix that and send it over. Other things that you see that I needed that have been updates or that need fixed. And if you get this emailed to you and then you like, after you looked at it closer, you're like, oh my gosh, Brooke, I totally mixed XYZ. We switched this, or this is different. Please just shoot me an email. This is a Google Doc, so it's live every time I make an update on our website. So as soon as I make the change, it goes live on the website automatically. Any other changes before I finish up, or any other questions, concerns?
She's gonna.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're fine.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So let's I think that's the end, but let me make sure before I say that. Oh yeah, so then I just have the last here page on it is just what questions a lot of times students ask us. And so that is how many credits can the students transfer in? There is no limit to how many credits the students can transfer in. So if the students have 200 credits, they can transfer in all 200. Now, do they need all 200? No, because they still have to complete 30 credits at the University of Michigan-Flint, which is common for every university. So they can transfer them all in, but they would still need to complete those 30 nursing credits. When can they start? Students can start any semester, fall, winter, spring, or summer. We have 4 terms, 4 times a year. We also admit twice in the fall and twice in the winter because we run classes every 7 weeks. So every 7 weeks, there's an opportunity for students to get admitted and start. As I mentioned before, students can take time off as long as they don't take more than a whole year off. They're not subject to any catalog changes. And as we've talked about before, students can start prior to finishing their associate's degree and prior to passing their nursing license. Are the instructors from the University of Michigan Flint? Absolutely, they are. They're the same instructors. If you want to come to main campus and meet with them, you could do that as well. This is not a correspondence course where we're just hiring random faculty to teach classes. These are University of Michigan faculty. Is the degree a University of Michigan degree? That's the one we always get asked. Absolutely it is. It's the same diploma signed by the same regents if you went to Ann Arbor, Dearborn, or Flint. And students are have all the same alumni benefits. We are the largest living alumni network in the United States, and they will get to be a part of that. Do you take the MTA stamp fully? That we just talked about. Absolutely, we do, starting in the fall of 23 and beyond. That if the students have that MTA stamp from Wayne County, we will take it fully. And then that just, like I said, is that link to your website that shows what students need to get an MTA stamp. Is there a secondary admission application? No. Students just apply to the university as a BSN completion student at any point in their program, and they are directly admitted as long as they meet those transfer guidelines like we talked about, an overall of a 2.0 GPA and a 2.75 in their nursing curriculum. Do you require any specific classes? No. As I talked about before, there's nothing specific that we require to start our program or to graduate in our program. So if they've had chemistry, great. Do we require it? No. If they've had statistics, great. Do we require it? No. So those, there's nothing that we have that is a specific curriculum. Whatever you at Wayne County said they need to get their associate's degree, that's what we want. And so what we always tell students their next step is we always suggest applying first, like I said, even if they're only in their first semester, because it's a free application. Students can be admitted with unofficial transcripts. So if they log into their WebGate and get me a copy of their transcripts, we send it to admissions and they do an official evaluation off of that. And they can be admitted, and then that way we can look exactly what transfers in, what they still need, and talk about those additional classes. And then they just book an appointment with us. This is where they apply. This is the website to apply on. Again, it's free, and they pick BSN completion. Make sure your students know, don't pick pre-nursing. I know that throws students off sometimes. They pick pre-nursing because they're like, well, I'm not done yet, so I should pick pre-nursing. Nope, that's for our traditional students. You will pick, or your students will pick BSN completion, even though they've just started into their associate's degree program. And then, like I said, they can send in official or unofficial transcripts to main campus, either by email or by physical address. And then this is just how they book an appointment. Again, this slideshow will be sent to you. And we offer face-to-face appointments in Flint, Lansing, and Port Huron. But then we offer phone and virtual appointments Monday through Friday with extended time slots on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for early morning appointments or late evening appointments. And then tuition. Our tuition is $5.16 per credit hour. So that is for those 30 credits that they would take for us. We do have a lot of scholarship opportunities for our students. Almost all of our students end up qualifying for at least one scholarship opportunity. I always recommend that students go through and read through these different websites to see which scholarships they're going to qualify for. Some of them they have to apply for, but a lot of them are automatically admitted or automatically put on their account as long as they met the criteria. And there's just a couple of scholarships I want to talk about specifically that a lot of students qualify for that are really great scholarships. So the first one is the Go Blue Guarantee. The Go Blue Guarantee is a full ride scholarship. So it is for all 3 campuses, Ann Arbor, Dearborn, and Flint. There is a couple criteria that our students need to meet. They do have to be those high achieving associate's degree nurses. So it is a transfer GPA of a 3.5 or better. They do need to, they have a certain income requirement they meet. So they need to have their FAFSA on file. And then it does need to be their very first bachelor's degree. So if a student was one of those students that got their bachelor's degree in psychology when they were 18 years old, changed their mind, came to you guys for an associate's degree, and then are coming back for their second bachelor's degree, they would not qualify. It has to be their very first bachelor's degree. And then they do need to go full-time with us. But if any student even thinks that they may qualify based on GPA and income, we highly recommend that they book an appointment with our financial aid department. It's just a phone appointment. They don't have to come to campus. And then our financial aid department will be able to look over their FAFSA and their GPA and tell them if they'll qualify. And like I said, this covers all tuition and fees. So this is full ride for the student. And so there's down here where they book with our financial aid department. This is the other scholarship that almost every single one of my students qualify for. So this is our transfer scholarship. Our transfer scholarship is for students that have a transfer GPA of a 3.0 or better. Almost all of my nursing students meet that because my associate's degrees in nursing require a high GPA to graduate. You guys require a high quality student to be able to graduate in your associate's degree program. So the majority of my students have that overall 3.0 GPA. The scholarship covers $2,500 a year. And so it's divided up between their fall and what we call winter semester for full-time students. And then for part-time students, it'd be $1,250 a year divided between those two semesters. There is nothing that the student has to do to get this scholarship. If they meet the criteria, they will get it awarded in their fall and their winter. So the only thing they would have to do is make sure they were in at least 6 credits in a fall and a winter semester. So this is great for my students because, like I said before, the majority of my students are working nurses with life's and family obligations. And so they most of the time only want to go part-time. So this is great because it allows the student to still get this scholarship, even if they are only taking 2 classes a semester or only taking 6 credits a semester. And there's nothing they have to do additional. This scholarship is great for students that are getting ready to graduate, especially. So if you have a cohort of students that all know they're going to go to the University of Michigan Flint, and they're going to start in a specific term. So it doesn't matter which term it is. It could be fall, winter, spring, or summer. If there's 5 students that can get together and fill this Google form out together, and they all start in the same semester, whichever one it is, then as long as they all 5 take 1 class in their first semester at the university together, it doesn't have to be the same class. So if one student's taking 316 and another student's taking 300, that's absolutely fine. Just 1 class in their very first semester together. They all get $500 each, and that's it. It's called our Friends and Family Scholarship. So those are our 3 scholarships I wanted to highlight. We have lots and lots of other ones, but those are the ones that a lot of students end up qualifying for. These are the different advisors. Again, I'm Brooke, Tiffany's on today, and so is Stephanie, but students can also work with Jennifer. And they don't have an assigned advisor, so students can work with whoever has availability that works best for them. So like I said, we have that book an appointment website. It'll show if the student picks Monday and I want 4 o'clock, it'll show you every one of the advisors that's available at Monday at 4 o'clock, and they pick that advisor to work with. So it's not like, oh, I have Tiffany and Tiffany's booked up, I can't talk to an advisor. They can always talk to me or Stephanie or Jennifer. So that was the majority of what I wanted to kind of go over today. What additional questions or concerns do you guys have about the program, those plans, or anything you know that we could do to help your students? I think you're on mute.
Yes.
There you go.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Griffin here. I'm sorry I missed most of the meeting, but
That's
I'm
okay.
sure this is only the beginning of a long relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I did tape it. So when this is over, I will.
Oh, perfect.
Yes. So I will send the recording of it along with that slideshow I was going through and those guides I was going through, so that you will have those available if you want to watch it or if you want to send that out to your students. And then we offer, just so that you're aware, every month we run 4 webinars a month for those different programs, whether it's RN to BSN, RN to DNP, the early assurance or the certificates. We run a webinar every Wednesday. Tiffany, Stephanie and I do. And so students that, if you ever have a student that wants to get more information, I'll send that to you as well, that link. And then students can attend one of those webinars. Again, if they can't make that webinar, no worries. Like I said, they can book an appointment with us, whether they're admitted or not admitted, at any point in your program, to talk more about how classes transfer in. And then we always, as advisors, we always try to maximize their transfer credits. So we're always going to push towards either completing the MTA with you guys or completing any additional general education classes with you to save them time and money. Oh, you're on mute. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's an excellent idea. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So we all have been through college and have had student loan debt. So like the least I can get a student out with the least cost is always my goal. And so I'm like, if I can get you out with not having student loan debt like I did, that's always my goal. So.
I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is
Yes.
Christy Wilson. I'm the director of the RN to BSN program. Some of you might have been familiar with Jamie Kuhnman, who retired last year. We miss Jamie, but I'm here to fill her big shoes that she left. But I'm really excited to work with all of you and to help the students be successful in the RN to BSN program. So I do have to go to another meeting, but I just wanted to say hi so you knew my face.
Well, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Awesome. Anything else that I can help answer? Like I said, is there anything that we can do that would help your students, like, you know, transition to a baccalaureate type program, or just a need that you see with your students?
Brooke, is someone scheduled to come out to talk to our graduates, the great May grads?
For I don't know. Stephanie would be, so Stephanie's not, go ahead, Stephanie.
It hasn't been scheduled yet, but I would be happy to do it.
Yes. So
Okay.
do you guys have a Sylvia Ray review day? Because we've come out before and fed everyone at lunch during the Sylvia Ray I think it's Sylvia Rayfield review days. Is if you guys have that, if you let Stephanie know or Tiffany, they can come out. I live in Missouri, so I used to live in Michigan, and I was the Wayne County representative, and I was there for 5 years, and then my husband's job transferred us back to Missouri, and they let me stay on remote. So I'm still here, but won't be able to come to the campus very well. I can, but it's a little longer of a commute.
Stephanie or Tiffany, you usually contact Dr. Darnell or Matt Stanley to arrange that. They are the assigned faculty for that class. Because we're not using Sylvia Rayfield this term.
Okay.
Okay.
So are you doing a review day at all?
We are, but it's virtual.
Oh, it's virtual. Okay. It's hard to feed people virtually. It can't be done, but it's pretty.
So if you can just send me a couple of dates and I'll talk to the faculty and Dr. Griffin, of course, and we will confirm a date.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
So we could even come out, like, if you guys knew that and we don't want to take up classroom time, like,
Right.
but if you knew like there was, you know, like a last class or, you know, something like that was coming up, like I said, and it was, even if it was over lunch, like we can bring out pizza, or we could come out in the morning and bring donuts or bagels, and things like that, just to speak to your graduating class. So if there was a time that would work best. Yeah.
So what I'll do, I'll send you an email once I speak to Dr. Darnell and
Perfect.
Stanley.
Yeah. So you guys send us the dates. That's works
Okay,
best.
okay.
And then more than likely, either Tiffany or Stephanie will find one of those dates. As long as we don't have a conflicting other event already on the schedule, we'll plan to come out and speak to your graduates. And like I said, we can bring snacks.
We'll follow up next week with the date, okay?
Perfect.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you guys for coming. Anything else?
Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we did. It went way longer because I was not anticipating that, that presentation in the beginning with Dean McCurran thing.
I wasn't either. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, I was like, okie dokie. And now we have the other webinar. Oh my gosh, I had an appointment. Crap.
Did you really?
Yeah. Whoops. Because I was only supposed to be from 10 to 11. And so yeah, I gotta go call a student.
Okay.
So I will see you
Really?
guys, or I'll see you, Tiffany, in the next webinar.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.